Nobody really asked for this video, but today I had some incidents or coaching sessions that reminded me about this, so I wanted to make a video about that. And it's about it's similar to a previous video I made about really getting infatuated with someone and then hating them out of no reason. But it's slightly different in that you get to know someone and then you bombard them with interest and messages, and then people feel weirded out by that, and then they stop talking to you. So if this happens to you, then I think that's basically the scenario in which I am trying to describe. I know very well about this scenario because it is what happened to me. Whenever I got to know someone and they seemed like cool people I want to get close to, what I would do is I would get their contacts, right? Like in the olden days, it was like text messaging or MSN Messenger. I don't know how many people are familiar with that. Or if you're really my generation, AIM, right? But, you know, so now you are there and I see that you're online, and then I just bombard you with like really mundane questions and hey, how are you doing, what's up, what are you doing right now, oh cool, and then blah 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 right? So but then I wouldn't stop, right? I wouldn't take a hint, and I would just keep going on and like, what are you doing right now, oh okay, I'm doing this, blah blah blah. And so when this happens, it's very natural for people to feel overwhelmed by this, right? Especially because you just got to know me, and then I message you like crazy. This experience isn't really fun. So that, but that was the only kind of a way I knew how to act. That was the only way I knew how to make interaction, make conversation and such. Because if you weren't cool, I had no interest in talking to you. If you were cool, the only thing I could do is just like bombard you with interest, right? And I want to tell you what motivated that, at least for me, so that you can find the analogs and take what applies to your life. So the primary reason for this is because there's a limited time frame in your mind. So what causes us to send as many messages as possible? It's because we want to get closer to them as much as possible. So there's a very short time window that I want to reach kind of like intimacy or closeness. And suppose we are destined to be friends. And if it's already going to be like that, why take 1 year for a relationship to mature when I could just like do all of it in one day and then we can be BFFs from the get-go? That's sort of what's at play here, right? So because I have spent a lot of time lonely, without a lot of influence of other people, and this has to do with sort of my upbringing, and because I moved around a lot, I moved around not just regions but like countries. Because of that, I had no steady group of friends that I grew up with. So this prolonged period of loneliness and always having to abandon friends that I made, this makes me really yearn that kind of a relationship with friends. And then when that opportunity for a cool friend arises, then I want to get it as soon as possible, right? And so that is what drives the behavior of messaging people and just bombarding them, overwhelming them with things. And so the important thing I want to share with you is relationships take time. And it's because when you get to know someone over a period of time, you get to simply experience more things with them. So, suppose we watched one movie together and then we really liked it. Then I could go on and on and on about how I really liked this really cool movie watching experience with you and so on, right? But I can try to hype up that one event like this much. But what happens in the alternative universe where I watch 5, 10 movies that I really like with you? Then, even if we don't constantly talk about that one movie, we have so many different ways we can weave our story together in our friendship or romantic relationships, right? So when you take the time and you have more varied experiences, that is what gives you more resources to get closer to another person. So, in essence, what I'm trying to say is, in social relationships, the more of a rush you are in, the more likely it will be sensed as overwhelming to other people. But now, if you just have a natural tendency to talk a lot, that's part of your personality, right? So I'm not trying to say, so tone it down a little bit like that. But what I'm saying is, your default baseline behavior aside, if you have that, I need to, oh my god, this person's cool, I can't lose them, I need to maximize the friendship as soon as possible. That is the mindset that I want you to be wary of, regardless of your baseline communication preferences. And how do you do that? Especially when you are, already in that kind of a cycle, you can notice when there's a bunch of messages that aren't read, right? So every time you notice these things, you gotta put a stop to your behavior, and you gotta remind yourself, hey, there's tomorrow to continue talking, and there's the next week, and then there's the next month, and we can continue talking. Because even if you get to the level of maturity of the relationship that you want as soon as possible, because your emphasis was so much on attaining that relationship in the first place, after you get it, you're not gonna know what to do. So it's my advice, which is kind of rare. I typically don't give a lot of advice, but my advice to you is take things slowly, and more importantly, look at the longer picture. And that will give you a little bit more of a relaxed mind as you engage your relationships. But I understand people can feel antsy, especially if they're lonely, right? So if you want to talk about how lonely you are, and if you want to get some stuff off of your chest so that when you go out into the real world, you can be more at ease, you're always welcome in my Discord server. Link is in the description. You're always welcome to write comments and send me an email if you want to be anonymous, billy@julylifecoach.com. I just want you to know that you are not alone.